Welcome to the Hey Legal Quiz with me, Edith Forrest. The aim of this quiz is to provide some light-hearted entertainment during lockdown and beyond. I'll be asking 20 questions of leading Scottish legal figures, questions which give insight to their careers and their lives beyond the law. So let's begin. So I'm joined today by Claire Mitchell QC. Hello, Claire.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you? You're looking very glamorous this morning.
Good, thank you. I've put on makeup for the first time in days, weeks, months, I don't know.
Oh dear. And fresh from the small screen, the BBC, I really enjoyed watching the documentary, the programme that was recorded in the appeal court. Did you enjoy doing that?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, the bits that they did in the actual court, you don't notice at all because you're actually doing the appeal, you're up on your feet. And then they just sort of came and did sort of 5 minutes filming here or there asking certain questions. So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting to see myself on the small screen through my fingers.
You were no, not at all. I thought you were outstanding.
Well, thank you. It didn't feel that way.
Oh, well, different type of challenge this morning. You've kindly agreed to answer the Hey Legal Quiz questions, and I'm certainly excited to hear your answers. So shall we just start?
Yeah, fire in. Okay,
so the first question, Claire, is if you weren't a lawyer, what would you be?
What did you? Oh, I know what you answered to that. A vet, right? I watched you say vet, which I was totally surprised about when I met. Yeah, I did. I was, having known you all these years and, never, that is a question that's never come up. Mm-hmm. So when I was going to do law at uni, I chose law for my first two subjects and then film and TV studies for my second two.
Okay.
So it just depended on my grades as to what future I had, I suppose. So I think something to do with media, broadcast media, something like that. I would have been involved in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And had you, when you were young, like at school and things, had you always wanted to do? Obviously, you took law as part of your,
Yeah. I mean, law's what I wanted to do since I was a kid. I'm famous or infamous for always going on about Crown Court. If you haven't seen Crown Court, get the box set. It's absolutely fantastic. I don't have shares in it, and it was so good. Like I would come home at lunchtime and watch half an hour TV show. Here's the crime. Here we go into court. Here's one or two witnesses being interviewed. And Crown Court's the only TV show that if you watch it now, just when you're turning to someone and saying this would never happen in real life, the counsel in the TV show gets up and says objection. They keep it quite, or as it was at the time, they keep it quite close to what things were like. So yeah, I got absolutely enraptured with the theatre of justice, probably even before I was interested in the substantive ideas of justice.
Fab. Yeah, because you do, as lawyers, we find ourselves shouting at, well, I do, shouting at a TV screen. I don't know what effect I think it's going to have, but you're just outraged, aren't you, at the nonsense.
Yeah, well, and you also think that you're watching uncritically TV shows like Casualty, thinking, yeah, that probably happens. And then you're wondering whether or not that's as far away from reality as your TV show. There was that recent one, Quiz, I don't know if you saw that TV show. It was about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd done the whole set perfectly and they'd recreated it incredibly. And then it went on to, I think, the part 3 of the series. And on part 3, they started with the actual trial. And it just lost all semblance of reality completely. It was definitely a good one to shout at if you fancy watching.
Far removed from reality.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2 is: did you have a nickname at school? And if so, what was it, and why were you given it?
I don't think I did. I was trying to think. I was like, oh no, that's a really bad sign, isn't it? I can't. No, I don't think I had one. Did you have one?
No, I didn't have one either. Well, that I knew of anyway. So.
Well, That's true. I may well have had one, but not to my knowledge.
Okay. And sticking with school, question number 3 is, were you a SWATy type at school?
I suppose it depends on what SWATy. I mean, I wasn't good at sports. That's a wild understatement to say that. I wasn't kind of in with the in crowd or anything. And I read books constantly. So yeah, I suppose to the outside world, I suppose I looked like a SWAT. But I didn't have to work that hard when I was at school. So I wasn't studious as SWATy. But I probably, I didn't fit any of the other sort of stereotypes. So SWATy was probably my newest one, yeah.
Okay. Question number 4, what was your first job?
My first job was working in John Smith's bookshop in Glasgow, the old bookshop in St Vincent Street. I'd been trading proudly there, I think, since 1751. That was the number over the door, and it was fantastic. John Smith's bookshop was a fantastic place to work, and I really, really enjoyed my time there. And it was just such a shame, I think, when people started buying books over the internet, as of course, you know, we all do nowadays. The call for having high street bookshops just became less and less. But they're still going strong as an academic bookseller, so I'm glad to say. But yeah, that was my first job on the shop selling books.
Fab. How long were you there for, Claire?
Probably about 5 or 6 years. I started at John Smith's and was working there a while, and then started also working at Fury Murray's, Blast from the Past nightclub in Glasgow. You'll recall that.
Do you know what I remember? I don't know that I was, or you're about to tell me I was there, are you? I can't remember. I never went there. I went to the tunnel. That's where I lived.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, no. But what was really funny was, I remember when you talked about your first job as the Red Bull rep going around in that car, and I remember you going around in that car in Glasgow. Yeah, going and going out to pubs and clubs and stuff like that. So Saturday was always very busy for me because it was all day at John Smith's, and then usually an hour or two to get home, and then back out to Fury Murray's. That was my Saturdays.
Great stuff. Question number 5 is, how do you define success, Claire?
I have absolutely no idea how to define success. It depends whatever you're trying to do that very minute. You know, sometimes at the moment success is just getting up at 9 o'clock and having meetings with people. It's, you know, at the moment, and unfortunately for me, I'm much closer to the couch than to the 5K at the moment. So, you know, I try to see success in small things as opposed to a generic success in life. Just, you know, set some minor goals and try to go for them. Yeah. That way you might feel successful.
Good answer. I like that. Question number 6, favourite drink?
Without a shadow of a doubt, vodka tonic, splash of lime.
Okay. Easy question.
Easy question. If I had 2 drinks, I would say, just, you know, why not have 2? I never used to drink wine at all until I reached my 40s, and someone gave me a glass of a wine called Amarone di Valpolicella. Wow. And that is beautiful wine. But my go-to drink, vodka tonic.
All right. Question number 7 is, what don't you like about your job?
Admin. That's really it. The business part of it is the bit that I don't like, because what happens is you're so caught up doing your job that admin is just pushed to the back and the back and the back, and then you have a huge mountain of admin to do. So just the general admin of running a business is not what I would enjoy.
I agree with you as well. I mean, I think I said to someone else on one of the other quizzes that I just detest doing fee notes. which you would imagine would be the enjoyable part of the job. But
no, I'm with you.
Tedious.
Any kind of just sitting down to do admin in front of a computer is not my idea of fun.
Yeah, I get that. I'm with you there. Question number 8. Which was your most memorable case to date?
Actually, I think the one that I'm involved at the moment, I'm involved in the case for Mr. McGrahy in respect of the Lockerbie case. And that happened, the actual incident happened in 1988, just as I started uni.
Okay.
And I followed the case all the way through my career, the trial at Camp Zeist, the first appeal, the second appeal that never came to fruition, and now, as it happens, I'm involved in the third one. So I think just because I've followed that myself all the way through my career, never, of course, thinking or suspecting that I would one day be involved in it, and that case is current at the moment. So I think that's probably my biggest. But there's other cases, like what I thought when you very first said that. I thought the first time I went to the Privy Council, and the Privy Council was as crazy to me as a unicorn. It was just something that you heard tell of, but you would never know. And so, in fact, when the first time I went to the Privy Council, I didn't know it was beside Downing Street. I didn't know it was nearby. Okay. So we stepped out of the taxi, and I'm like, we've come to the wrong place. I was just so out of my depth. So things like that are memorable moments, not necessarily so much for the case, but just because you're somewhere that you'd only ever read about before or heard about before. So going down to the Privy Council, going down to the Supreme Court, that sort of thing, are nice milestones, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Question number 9 is, tell me one thing that would surprise me about you.
You've known me so long. Does anything surprise me? So my probably go-to, what people don't know about me is I'm a black belt in karate. I did karate from when I was a child. So yeah, I suppose that's my go-to surprising fact.
And do you still, I don't know, what do you say?
No.
Or,
No, I haven't for years and years.
I think you should maybe try a move in the appeal court one day just to keep things lively.
I'm fighting myself more than anybody. Well, you can't just go back and start a beginner's class because, and so it's been so long since I've been away from it. But it was a great thing to do. So that's my surprising fact.
Very good, Claire. No, not to mess with you.
I don't think it would make any nowadays.
All right, question number 10 is, what traits in others irritate you the most?
Number 1 is being in any kind of position of power and abusing that power. So bullying, any form of bullying, micro-bullying, serious bullying, just not treating someone well because you can is my number 1 bugbear.
Okay, yeah. Get that. Question number 11, straightforward one, I hope, although this has proved a bit of a tricky question for particularly our vegan guests, but the question is, what's your favourite flavour of crisps?
Well, I'm vegetarian, not yet vegan. I know Tommy is. I was surprised to find Suzanne was as well. And I'm just not there. I just can't get over that whole cheese hurdle.
Right.
So my favourite flavour of crisps would have been, up until recently, Pringles, cheese and onion Pringles, dead straightforward. But I was introduced to truffle flavoured crisps. Have you ever tasted truffle flavoured crisps?
No, but somebody was speaking to me about them the other day, so I'll need to get a bag of them.
The combination of salt, fat, and the taste of truffle is delicious.
Right.
I've become like a truffle pig if we've got one in the house. I'll be able to tell where the crisps are, wherever they've been planked, to try and hide them so I don't eat them all in the one go. So truffle flavoured. That's a very posh. That's a very posh new one. But for the most part, I can only usually get my hands on Pringles, so I'll go with cheese and onion Pringles.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, question number 12. What book would you recommend that everyone should read?
Well, if we're kind of sticking to a law theme, because I've got so many different genres, but if we're sticking to a law theme, my absolute number one recommendation is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. Mm-hmm. It is an amazing book, and there was a murder of 4 people in their house in America, and Truman Capote found out about this in New York, and he was already a kind of celebrated columnist, and he went to the town where it happened and stayed there, and he brought along with him Harper Lee, who then went on to write To Kill a Mockingbird, and Harper Lee was his researcher, and they went into minute detail about not only the crime which occurred, but the people surrounding it, the people that are affected by it, the community, and also a real insight into the people who were then caught for the crime and tried. I'll not give too much away of the story, but it is as fresh as if it could have been written yesterday. You know, it was written such a long time ago, and Harper Lee, I think, is credited with a lot of the researches apparently she did. She was able to get stories from people that perhaps Truman Capote wouldn't have, because he wasn't seen as a local. He was very much an outsider. Yeah. Whereas she apparently was much more able to get information from people, and it was a combination, I think, although he wrote in Cold Blood, it was a combination of her researches and his writing that got it. So In Cold Blood, Truman Capote, and then To Kill a Mockingbird after it.
Follow up. Fab.
Yeah.
Well, that's inspired me to go and look that out, Claire, so do that.
I look forward to speaking about it with you.
Okay. All right. Question 13. Do you have any irrational fears?
Well, of course, if you've got a fear and it's irrational, you don't believe it's irrational. You think it's totally...
That's very true.
I am not keen, as you will know, on flying. Right. So I don't know whether that's irrational or not, or that's completely rational, because it seems to me really to be a quite rational thing, not to want to put yourself... Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, just as you were saying it, the connection, I don't know if it's yours or mine, it probably is mine, but the connection just disrupted. I think you said you're not keen on flying.
Yes, absolutely not keen on flying. I mean, I will do it. I have done it, flown this year, but it's something that I only do if I can't find any other way to do it, hence travelling around the world in my camper van as I do.
Which is fabulous anyway.
Yes.
So what would be your kind of, do you have a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? How do you get yourself kind of G'd up and ready to go flying? Do you have to talk yourself? Prosecco. I don't want to mention strong drugs of any sort, but Prosecco.
Just the weak drugs will do. Prosecco is, a couple of glasses of Prosecco, and I will do it, but I'm just not keen on it. So that's, a lot of people just step on planes like they step in and out of cars, and I just it takes me a bit more to do that. Yeah.
Okay. As you say, totally rational if you've got the fear. It's rational. Oh dear. All right, the next question number 14. is, what are your oldest pair of shoes? What age are your
Okay, well, it's very funny that you ask this, because I don't, I just use shoes until they fall apart and then throw them out. I'm not too bothered about them. But in a conversation with one of my pals during lockdown, Claire, another Claire, it transpires that a pair of shoes that I remember having in the mid-90s, which were black shoes, black heeled shoes, which had a bit of the shoe which went up your leg, kind of in a spiral. I'm not sure they're trendy now. I'm not sure they were ever trendy, but so apparently I found out during lockdown I gave those shoes to my friend Claire, who says, "Oh, I've still got them upstairs in my cupboard. I just haven't given them." So we've already made a pact that after lockdown we're going to have a great shoe reunion, and I'm going to be reunited with my early 90s shoes. So
and where can we see you wearing them?
Probably nowhere. I'll especially maybe tweet a picture of my oldest shoes and send it to Edith when I get them back.
Absolutely.
I think I gave them to her for a night out she was going on, and then time just passes and I just never thought of them again. They just sat there all this time.
So funny. Oh dear. All right. Question number 15. Back to the law here. Who has had the biggest influence on your career in law? Gosh,
there are so many people that have had an influence. I couldn't pick out one person. People have influenced me at different times in different ways. Some people have influenced me thinking, I will become a lawyer. So some people have influenced me perhaps not realising they were influencing me.
Yep.
Some people, I have watched them in court and thought, one day I really want to be able to do that. I want to stand there and do that. So I couldn't name one, because there have been so many and for so various reasons that there's not one. And there still are, so many people that I look, and when they've finished a submission, I kind of think that was amazing. I like what they did there, stuff. So yeah,
I think that's it, isn't it? As advocates or any kind of lawyer, watching others is how you learn, but continue to learn, and you pick up things and you achieve things, and then you're moving on to a different level. And it's just a great way to learn yourself. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think. So I think there's just been, I'm inspired every day when I see people doing great stuff, and they might not know it. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, I would say to them that was really good and stuff like that. Yeah. But too many to mention. Okay. Yeah, absolutely understand that. Question number 16. Question 16 is favourite chocolate bar, Claire?
Oh, anything Reese's Pieces, Reese's Peanut Cups, Reese's, hands down.
Oh dear.
There's no more to be said. There's no more discussion to be had. I can say that prior to Reese's, I was a solid Cadbury's fruit and nut fan, but I immediately swapped allegiances and never went back.
Really?
As soon as Reese's came on the market, yes.
Okay. Mm. See, I like a fruit and nut. Reese's, I don't know. I would eat it, I would have it if you gave me it, but I don't know that I would crave it. Quite sick.
All the way for me. I'm not trying to persuade you to like.
Oh dear. Question 17. What's the fanciest event you've ever been to?
I don't know. I mean, as lawyers, I think we get invited to quite a lot of sort of black tie dinners, and any black tie dinner I feel is fancy. I do. There are two events that I really love. One is the Tumbling Lassie at Prestonfield House every year. It's in a beautiful setting. It's for a fantastic charity for anti-trafficking, and it's very fancy. So I like that. But the other one, and closer to home for you and I, is the Scottish Criminal Bar Burns Supper every year, where they do that in the reading room at faculty, and it's beautifully set out. And we have Donald Finlay doing Tam O'Shanter, Tony doing Address to the Haggis, Tony Graham, and we have great speakers, and that I think that's really, really special. It's fancy in its own sort of way, because we've sort of a long tradition of our Burns Supper, and we've got such great speakers. So those are probably the fanciest things that I go to.
Yeah, I agree with you. The faculty Burns Supper really is, and it's, I think, something like 40 people or something that can fit into the reading room for a dinner. So it's very small, but faculty just do things very well too, don't they? Even down to catering and. But it's a very special. I think special is the word. A special night. And probably, I think as well, there's a rule what happens at the faculty Burns Supper stays there.
Yeah, it's special. We'll just say it's special. That's all anyone needs to know.
Moving on swiftly. Question number 18 is, what quirks do you have?
So I'm a humanist and a rationalist, and so I believe in science, and I believe in, don't believe in deities or anything like that. But unfortunately, at the same time, and completely irrationally, again, I'm also superstitious, and I can't help it. Okay. So if someone were to pick up like a fork to stir something, a cup, I will like lunge over the desk to stop them doing it.
Is that a superstitious thing? A fork stirring?
Yeah. Well, you don't stir anything other than a spoon. Otherwise, you have to stir it backwards. Or I don't know. I'm not plagued by it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, what's very embarrassing and annoying from my perspective is that I know it's a load of nonsense, but for some reason. So yeah, that's probably my quirkiest trait for sure.
All right. Question 19. What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
Again, there are so many different pieces of advice for so many different parts of your life.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I couldn't say, because there's lots of different. I mean, I think I would probably be here for about another hour, which I'm sure no one would be interested in listening to all the advice that I've been given over the years. and I've very gratefully received. But I'm not sure. Again, it's like success. There are so many that have helped me, and I've been very grateful for. But I don't think I could highlight just one.
Okay, fair enough. Question number.
What was yours?
Do you know? I can't remember. Do you know? In fact, I'll tell you, I didn't answer that question because as the quiz has gone on, it has somewhat changed. I think we've added in 2 extra questions. One being that question, and the other one being what book would you recommend? So I didn't get them. I only answered 20. I got 20.
I'm now obliged to turn the tables on you and ask you those questions.
I don't like you. I don't think I can't. I don't know. The best piece of advice probably. I think certainly, and I think I discussed this with somebody else in their quiz. It was just, and I think decent folk would do this in any event, but just be very pleasant, particularly to the clerks of court, and that will smooth your passage. So certainly, the question's not targeted at law, but that was certainly in terms of law, legal. That was mine, and the book I would recommend everyone should read is the Bible. So that's an easy answer for me. So yeah, well, thank you, Claire, for asking me them, because I missed them out.
Good. Well, I'm glad we got them.
Well done. Interview turns interviewer. I love it.
Sorry, I'm very bad at always asking people questions. Sorry.
No, not at all. That's our job after all, isn't it? Well, certainly can be. So going back to you, we're now on question 20. What job would you be terrible at, Claire?
Anything which required me to be quiet and sit still. So any job with those as a requirement would be my idea of hell.
Right.
So I don't know.
An office-based job of some sort, or would you?
Yeah, I could not do 9 to 5. Whilst unfortunately simultaneously complaining that my job isn't 9 to 5, I could also not do a 9 to 5 job. I don't suppose I'd ever be happy. But yeah, I don't think I would be. I think if I was in an office, not only would I hate it, but everyone else would hate it as well. I would drive people demented if I was in an office. That's another reason why you need to be self-employed.
Yeah, no, I get that as well. Question 21. What is the weirdest talent you have?
I don't think I have any weird talents. I used to have a really, really good memory, and it's not the same anymore. But I used to have write it down. I would just memorise it necessarily without understanding it or knowing it, and then I could regurgitate it, hence passing my exams at university. But 2 days later, not remembering, not knowing.
Yeah.
And now even that skill has gone. So but that would have been, had I been young, that would have been what my answer would have been. But that skill has now left me as well. So I think.
Oh, I'm sure you do. There'll be hidden talents in there, definitely. And then our final question, Claire, is what have you enjoyed most about lockdown?
Just the change of pace that allow you to do other things. You know, the fact that you're not sort of getting home and thinking, right, okay, what's the next thing that I have to do to leave the house again? And it's allowed all sorts of things to happen. It's allowed the bike to come out of the shed to go and get fixed.
Because you were always very keen on your bike, weren't you, Claire? I remember you cycling to work and things like that.
Absolutely. I love cycling. Go cycling holidays. I really, really love being on my bicycle, but you just don't have enough time for it quite a lot of the time. But you know, I mean, I've been cooking. I've been baking. I made shortbread the other day. I was standing in my own kitchen. Who am I? I'm now making shortbread. And as you will well know, and maybe others won't. You know, that would not have happened on any ordinary, afternoon.
No.
But just having that bit more time, and I must say, I want to that I feel is mine. Whether or not it'll work, I don't know. Whether or not things just go back to normal and we all start on that hamster wheel again, I'm not sure. But I would really, really like to try and hold on to some of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the fear, isn't it? That things, I don't think things will go back to normal. I think the new normal will incorporate aspects of lockdown, and I'm a bit concerned about people just being normal with each other, because with social distancing, I mean, I don't know how you feel about going to shops and things like that. Even at the minute, you've got people literally jumping away from you as if you've got the plague, which I suppose some people do approach it like that, but you just do wonder how social interaction will go back to semblance.
I wonder about that because the new normal became normal so fast that maybe we'll just go back again if and when the pandemic is over, hopefully very much when. I just wonder whether or not that will fade again for people, and they'll be like, oh, do you remember that time when we had to keep 2 meters apart? Or
I hope so, because I think there's a real I don't know about you, not that I'm good about hugging folk normally, but certainly with certain people, your family, you know, if you're quite a tactile person, you really miss that, don't you? And just when you meet someone, giving them a hug. So you're right, maybe that will just kick in once the restrictions are lifted a bit.
Yeah, hope so.
But you've enjoyed the slower pace, finding you have got a hidden talent. There you are, you're shortbread maker.
It's kept itself very, very hidden for a number of decades now. It's just, that's my hidden talent, almost edible shortbread.
You'll now have to take it into the appeal court with you and just let them all sample it once you're back.
I don't think that's going to help my submissions anyway, to be honest with you. I think I'd better just stick to the law. I think that's probably the plan.
Claire, thank you so much. You've been a fabulous guest. I've really enjoyed you taking this quiz, and indeed myself with my bonus 2 questions. So thank you so much for taking the time to answer the questions and being so fabulous in doing so.
I enjoyed it.
That's good. I'm glad you did. Before I let you go, could I ask you to nominate someone to take the quiz next?
I would like to nominate John Scullion, QC, as the person next to take the test. Good luck. I look forward to seeing what his answers to things are.
Fantastic. Claire, thank you so much again. You've been a fabulous guest, and we're really grateful to you for taking part. So I hope to see you in the flesh soon.
Absolutely. Very much so, Edith. Take care.
Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Hey Legal Quiz. We are releasing more episodes weekly, so please sign up for free to Hey Legal on our website to access our free content, legal updates and more. Plus follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram and on all podcasting platforms.